Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix, and this is the 2023 Mazda CX-50. Now, it looks very similar to the CX-5, which is its sister, and they compete in the same category, but there are some differences. Obviously, the CX-50 looks a little bit more rugged, but it's also longer, wider, and lower, and has more off-road capability, and it's got more towing capacity. There's a lot of differences between the two vehicles, and let's take a closer look. One of the first things you're going to notice when you look at the CX-50 is it looks more rugged. Because of the new shape of this vehicle being longer, wider, and lower, you're also going to see that this grille is a little slimmer and it's also black. Just gives it that sportier look. Many of the features are the same of that of the CX-5. One of the rugged appearance features of this vehicle is the wheel arches are black plastic. You'll also notice that this vehicle runs on 20-inch wheels. There's also 18-inch wheels, and they are alloys, and in this case, they're running on Goodyear tires. The color of our test vehicle is zircon sand, and you can see overall it is much more rugged, including roof rails. There is a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty and a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty, as well as 3 years of roadside assistance that is included, which helps especially if you're going off-roading. You'll notice all these black details and a little bit of chrome to give it that little bit of sportiness as well. Coming around to the back of the CX-50, you've got an upper wing here with an integrated third light. This wiper blade is sticking out, and all these vehicles I wish it was tucked up underneath just for style and aerodynamics, and also for you because the maintenance on these little wiper blades are really expensive. You'll see LED taillights, your CX-50 all-wheel drive because they all come all-wheel drive. And again, that LED taillight with the Sky Active because this is that Sky Active technology. Also, that is part of the suspension. Really cool features on this versus the CX-5. You've also got the turbo because this is the bigger engine. There's also a non-turbo option. You'll see you've got your exhaust pipe here and a nice valance and another exhaust pipe. Dual exhaust is pretty nice, making this vehicle look really good from behind. Visibility is really good as there is a backup camera, which is standard, and a round view camera on the higher trim levels, which really helps you, especially when you're backing up, showing you left and right tracking. When you put the vehicle in reverse, the side mirrors tilt down so you don't run over anything. The seats are upright and still a bit low, but it's easy to get in and out of this vehicle. Heated and ventilated seats are optional, which is really nice, as well as a heated steering wheel, and the design and style is really well done and very rugged and off-road looking. Here in the second row, the seats are a bit flat, but they do split 60-40, and there are 2 child safety latch systems, which I think are really great. In the center, there is 2 built-in cup holders, and in addition to that, you got storage in the doors. Behind the seats on the passenger side, you have 1 pocket, but not on the driver's side. Behind the center console, you've got 2 vents, 3-stage heated seating, which is an option, and 2 USB power charging ports. As far as leg, knee, and headroom, because this vehicle is longer, there is more legroom, there is more height as well, and plenty of shoulder space for 2 adults, possibly someone in the middle, which they can, but you have to be a little on the smaller side. But overall, this is exactly what's expected in this category and certainly does a nice job. Just a touch bigger than the CX-5. The 10.3-inch main screen interface has active touch features, but only with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Otherwise, you have to use the controller, which is down here in the center console, which personally I find to be frustrating. You can turn the dial to get to the certain things that you need, but then you have to go back and press at least 2 or 3 buttons to get to the next feature that you want, whether it's radio. If you press down and you say you want to go to the channel list, it goes right to the top at 0. So each time you have to go back to 0. It doesn't start where you were, especially if you're looking at different music that you want to switch to, and you go back to that same thing, it brings you right back to the top. A little frustrating. There's also some information here that you can use for fuel efficiency, satellite radio traffic, and of course your vehicle status. Very simple and extremely outdated, unfortunately, which is a shame because the vehicle offers so much, but you have to go through so many steps to get to each feature. There is a wireless charge pad that is available, as well as Bose audio system with 12 speakers and a head-up display. It uses a standard Prindle, park, reverse, neutral, drive. There's no low, but there is a manual. And you've got your My Drive modes, which are sport, normal, and off-road. Pretty simple and easy to use. You've got your auto hold, which a lot of people like so the car doesn't roll forward at a traffic light. And there are those controllers as well as a mute and the star for your favorites button. Pretty simple. The gauge cluster in front of you changes just a little bit when you go into those different drive modes, just a little bit of color. But for the most part, these are actual gauges, which is good when the vehicle's older so you don't have to worry about problems. Controls on the steering wheel are, as they are in any of the Mazda products, really easy to use, and you can adjust your safety settings here, your distance control, and of course your cruise. The left side of the steering wheel offers you the ability to shut off all those safety features, especially if you're going off-road. You can hit this to view your camera. That's for park assist, traction control, and this is for the auto stop. But other than that, you've got a lot of very simple features here. This vehicle is not very complicated, but in addition, they've done a nice job on putting in soft materials, making this vehicle feel a little bit more luxurious, and also has a lot of style, especially with the seat color, which I think is really cool. It's terracotta. Really nicely done and very classy, especially in this price point. The safety systems and driver assistance systems have been improved on the CX-50 over the CX-5. Standard driver's aids include blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, adaptive cruise with stop and go to a full stop, blind spot intervention, reverse automatic braking, and front or rear parking assist. Under the hood is a Skyactiv 2.5-liter turbocharged engine with 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Backed up by a Skyactiv 8-speed transmission, 0 to 60 times 7.2 seconds. It's a bit slower than the turbo CX-5, but it's one of the quickest cars in the category. Fuel economy, 25 miles to the gallon. All vehicles are all-wheel drive, and the CX-50 that is non-turbocharged gets about 27 miles to the gallon. 0 to 60 time with the turbocharged engine is about 7 seconds. Kind of loud. It's getting there. It's at 60. So I think the first thing to note is obviously this is not a race car, but it has slightly better pickup than that of the CX-5. Brakes, down to 0. Really nice, well-balanced brakes. The steering is firm, and the steering input requires a little bit more effort than you would think. So if you like a real easy steering wheel, this may not be the vehicle for you. I currently have it in sport mode. When you drop back to the normal mode, it still has that kind of heavy steering feeling, although it does handle really well. And it's important to remind yourself that all of the CX-50s are all-wheel drive. When it comes to towing capacity, this vehicle will tow 2,000 pounds with the non-turbo engine and 3,500 pounds with the turbocharged engine. As far as on-road ride and feel, it has a really nice ride. It's pretty smooth, absorbs a lot of the bumps. When you're on a really rough road, you can really feel it. But again, this has an off-road component to it, and I'm currently driving it in the normal mode. If you go to the sport mode, it's going to have a rougher ride, because it does change some of the dynamics of the vehicle. And as far as off-road, it does have a hill assistant so that it'll help you get up the road. But it's all-wheel drive, so you shouldn't have a problem with driving this year-round, whether it be in the snow or just on dry pavement or even on the sand or out into the mountains if you are big into the outdoors. There are a lot of similarities between the CX-50 and the CX-5. And if you're thinking about either of the vehicles, you should take them both for a drive and see some of the differences. The biggest is the fact that there is more length, which is going to give you a slightly better ride, but also the fact that this vehicle is designed for a different purpose. It's designed for those people that are going to take it off-road. They're going to go camping, fishing, because you have a roof rack, including a glass roof. And that is something that's really nice because you can use that roof rack and it doesn't interfere with the glass roof. So again, they've thought about who's using this vehicle, and while they are sister vehicles, they do compete in a couple different ways. Overall, I've been driving this vehicle for a week, and I have to say I like it. I think considering its price category, if you start at that entry level at $26,000, you know, we're talking about a vehicle that's going to get you places without a problem and lots of safety. If you're thinking about stepping up to that turbocharged motor, you're going to lose only about 2 miles to the gallon, but you'll get a little bit more zip, a little bit more fun, and a little bit more towing capacity. When it comes to cargo space, the CX-50 is right in the middle of the category. 31.4 cubic feet of storage, fold down that 60-40 split seat, and you're at 56 cubic feet of storage, which is a really nice place to be. Plenty of storage for all of your needs. It's also important to note that there is a spare tire underneath this cover. When it comes to pricing on the CX-50, it starts at $26,000. That's your entry level with the non-turbocharged engine. Add in the turbocharged engine and all the goodies, go to that top trim level, which we all would like to have, and you're coming in around $43,000. There was no additional options on this vehicle because there are so many different trim levels. There are 10 different exterior colors, lots of choices. When it comes to the pros and cons of the CX-50, it has reasonably good performance for acceleration on on-ramps and for passing. I think the cargo space is great, and I love some of the details they made to make this more rugged looking. Really nice from that perspective, and standard all-wheel drive is a massive plus. It's important to note that there are some negatives as well. The ride is a bit rough, but it is designed for a little bit more off-roading, and I find that center screen extremely outdated and very frustrating as you have to use the dial, and you can only use the touchscreen if you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which on a positive side is wireless. So they've made some pluses and minuses. If they update that center screen, I think they're really going to have a great vehicle in this category. As I said, this is the sister car to the CX-5, which is their best-selling vehicle. Now, their main competitors are obviously Toyota, Honda, and Subaru, but there are a lot of other people in this category, including Ford and GM, as well as all the competitors, Mitsubishi, that produce in this category. We've reviewed the competitors on our YouTube channel. Also, you can check out our social media, our podcast, and of course, more details on this vehicle down in the description below. If you have any comments or questions, because I did not cover every single little detail, and I'm sure you have additional questions, put it in the comments. Let's start the conversation, and I'm happy to get you answers to your questions so you can buy the right vehicle that fits your needs. Don't forget to check insurance costs on the CX-50 versus the CX-5. That could be different also between the two vehicles. If you got value from this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. We thank you so much for your support on our Patreon page, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.